wanted to talk about my dad since on this December 21st, on 2016, it was a year since he had passed. He passed away on December 21st, 2015. So it's been really hard on us. Um, on Thanksgiving in 2015, we noticed that he hadn't feeling well. His foot was looking really bad. It was pussy and everything. And, he wanted to wait to go to the doctor to see what was going on. So he waited, and it was on December 1st when my mom and my sister took him to the hospital. And, they told him, your foot is going to have to be cut off. It's dead already. And, so he ended up getting it cut off. And come to find out, it was not only his foot, they had to go more higher up because the infection had went through his leg as well. Um, so the whole time he was at William Beaumont Hospital, and the whole time that he was there, they weren't taking care of him right at all. He had about 7 surgeries during the time he was there, and on his last surgery, his heart stopped. Was what my mom was telling us. And they wanted to make sure when he woke up that he would remember her and everything, and he did. It's just scary that they weren't acknowledging that his heart stopped that time, and during his time there at William Beaumont Hospital, they weren't treating him right. The nurses would yell at him. They weren't cleaning him up. He had to wait till our mom came to when she would come to visit. He would have to wait till she would change him because they weren't changing him. They weren't doing anything. Um, Sitting there in a bed being soiled, and no one has changed you. You have to wait for your wife to change you. That's ridiculous. The hospital should be doing their job, but obviously they're not. Yeah. So he was there until, the time when they decided that, okay, after he had those 7 surgeries and his heart had stopped already, they decided that, okay, well, we're going to get ready so we can get everything ready for you to go to rehab. So he ended up being, which was shocking to us, we didn't know it was going to be that soon that he would be sent over. He wasn't healed yet, obviously. He only had been in there from December 1st till, a little bit in the middle of the month. So come on. So then they got everything ready. He was going to go to Highlands Rehab here in El Paso, Texas. And so he got sent over there. He only was there for maybe a couple, like about 2 or 3 days. And, that day when he first got there, he was already ready to go. He was like, I want to go home. I have some things to take care of. The next day, it was that Friday. It was a Friday. Then he wanted to take care of business when it was a Saturday. And I was like, Dad, what kind of business can you take care of on a Saturday, really? So honestly, I think, to us, I think, he just wanted to go home. I think he knew, something was going to happen. I really do think that. Because why else would you're not going to be taking care of business on Saturday. So yeah, I think he was scared, really scared. So then, he got calmed down. He wasn't freaking out on us anymore about wanting to go home. So then Saturday came, he was okay. Then, Sunday, Sunday came and he ended up having therapy. When we got there, he was barely coming back from therapy. And I think he was gone from like 10 in the morning till like 3 in the afternoon. I don't remember what time it was when they brought him back to his room. But that was his first day of starting therapy, and you could tell it wore him out. And then once they brought him back to his room, he was in his little wheelchair that they were pushing, and the nurse, therapist, whatever she was like, okay, do you want to try and get in your bed? I was like, come on. Me and my mom were looking like, there's no way. He got in his bed, but he laid back in his bed, and you could tell that wore him out. He was already tired from all of that. And then during the rest of the day, we sat with him, and he decided he wanted to eat. He ate a whole, he didn't eat all of his food, but he was actually eating because he wasn't really eating even when he was at William Beaumont. He wasn't really eating a lot. They had to feed him through a tube there at the hospital. But and then all of a sudden we started realizing because he kept saying, "Oh, mom," talking to my mom, who calls her mom. He was saying, you guys got some Coke? Got some Coke? Like Coca-Cola. And we were like, Dad, you can't have soda. There's no way. And I started thinking like maybe his sugar levels are low for him to ask for a Coca-Cola. So then they got him. He was like, "Do you guys have cookies or anything?" And I think they had cookies with his dinner. But that was it. And then that night she took me home, and that's when she called later on, and she was saying that his levels were low, and the ambulance came and were telling them to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich to see if that would help. Well, that didn't help, so they had to rush him over to Sierra Providence East. And so, he was there the next morning. My mom started freaking out. She was calling me. And, so that Monday, December 21st, 2015, he didn't make it. We went up there to see him at Sierra Providence, and, he was, he couldn't talk to us because they had him, like, on the little breathing the oxygen. But, I still remember that day, coming in there and seeing him. And his hands were on the sides of his bed, and he was like going like tapping on the bed. I guess like for us to hold his hands. So I think he knew that he was going. But it's still hard. A year has passed, but it feels like just yesterday. It's hard. Some people like to tell you that, oh, it'll get better, it'll get easier. It hasn't gotten better. It seems like it's gotten worse. You know, we had me and my fiance and my son. We were living at an apartment. We decided to move in with my mom. Um, after my dad had passed away, we decided to move in with her so she wouldn't be alone. And I know it's I try to stay strong, but it's hard, really really hard losing a parent. You know, I know it's hard for my little sister because she was like the daddy's girl, so it's really hard on all of us. My mom tells me that she usually sometimes she'll go in the car just to scream because she doesn't know why they took him away from us. You know, I just wish William Beaumont Hospital here in El Paso, Texas, would have done more. And I feel like crap because we didn't even try to figure out, go back to William Beaumont and be like, you guys should have done better. You guys should have, freaking, they just really messed up. And sending him to a rehab right away after surgeries was not a good idea. It's not. Someone's in the was in the hospital from December 1st all the way up to like the 17th, 18th. You can't freaking, that's a short time during surgeries and you're sending them off to rehab. I don't know, I'm not a doctor or anything, but to me that just is a really short time after surgeries and you're already rushing them off to rehab. Like, it doesn't make any sense. The rehab are not doctors. They're not for that. So it doesn't make any sense to me why they would do that. But it's hard. It really is. There's times where me and my mom are here in the house and I'm like, I could have sworn I heard his voice, or I could have sworn I saw him. And, I don't know. It could be just my imagination, or I really am seeing him. I don't know. But not a day goes by that we don't, think about him, because we always do think about him every day. We could be just talking about something, and we are always thinking about him. We love Dad so much. I miss my dad a lot. That's all I can say. It just goes out to anybody who has ever lost a loved one, dealing with amputation and dealing with hospitals who are not taking care of their loved